Is this thing on? I believe so. I'm just waiting for people to join, so I'm not talking to myself. Hi, Jimmy. Hi, Angie. How y'all doing? Thanks for joining me. I thought I was going to be here by myself. So I'll wait for some more people to join. Hi, Bernie Gaston. Hi, Caleb. Oh, thank you. Span the hustle whiz. Good. Now I can ask you anything. Yes, you can. About real estate. I know. Southeast Texas Moving Services. Listen, I'm here. It's been a while. That's why I'm here for you guys. I'm here live. Q&A. Hey, Hope. Hey, Brandon. Grandmaster Affiliate. How are you? You guys, tell me where you're coming from. Where are you all watching from? As you know, I am in Atlanta. Birmingham. Hey, neighbor. How long did it take you to get your first deal and how? Hey, Anna, guess what? I have a whole video on that exact question. I have a whole video on my first deal, but it took me about 4 months to get it. Yeah, Fairburn, Georgia, Vallejo, California, Mobile, Alabama, Philly, Gwinnett. Thank you. Next up, Wealth, St. Petersburg, Florida, Fort Worth, Texas, Newark, Rhode Island, Tuscaloosa. We have a lot of Alabama. Cashmatic, what's up? D. Somebody says, what kind of assistance that you offer besides your videos do you offer? I do one-on-one consultations, phone consultations. I also have a group coaching program and my videos. But other than that, I do have those 2 resources available. Greenville, South Carolina, Toledo, Baltimore, Memphis. Great. Y'all are, what's up? What's up? So any other questions? Go ahead and get started with what you want to know. Oh, somebody's at work. Oh, thanks for tuning in. I'll try to be quiet. In Atlanta, what's up? You saw a video. You did not see a video about me becoming a flight attendant. That's a false statement. I'm at work watching. Put your headphones in, Angie. Leads. How do you get leads? There are several ways to get leads. Several. So you can either put a lot of money into getting leads, or you can put a lot of hard work and not that much money into getting leads. Driving for dollars is one way. You can also use a platform called PropStream, and that's actually my most recent video is how to use PropStream to get leads. So I may put a link down in I will put a link down in the description box on how you can try PropStream for 7 days free. Literally get unlimited, not unlimited, but you can get a lot of leads in a month that way. You can customize the lead, you can get tax lien lead, you can get literally any lead you could think of using PropStream, so that's really great. Yeah, in this day and age, I think that's probably the best way to go. When I started about 3 or so years ago, I was heavily driving for dollars, which is another great way, but you know, time is money, so I just went on to PropStream. Somebody says, I love PropStream, best bang for your buck. All right, so as you all are typing, the questions like disappear, so here I am. Listen, if you have a question, ask it. Somebody said, I have a question for you. What is it? What are your long-term real estate goals? That's a great question. Just to have passive income, that's really it. Wholesaling is great for, you know, chunks and for building capital and things like that. But my long-term goal is to have passive income as well as apartment complexes. Somebody said, how's your Airbnb working out? Listen, y'all saw the video about me setting up my very first Airbnb. Since then, I am now on to number 3 and counting. So that's another beast in itself, but it's great. Thanks for asking. I love it. All right, I have to like keep scrolling all the way. In this nasty weather, Atlanta, let me tell you, like, I hate the rain. What are your thoughts on direct mail? I don't too much care for it, to be honest, just because of the cost. the marketing dollars versus other ways to market. Now, I will say the same way I just said I don't care for it. I did start a new campaign, a direct mail marketing campaign, but it's with a twist, and it incorporates online marketing as well. So it's like two tied into one. So I'll let you know how that goes once that's actually up and running and implemented. But yeah, typically I wouldn't go for direct mail anymore. Although I did get my very first deal from direct mail, so I can't knock it. But cost-wise, it just wasn't that effective to me. Let's see, another question. Have you ever assigned a lease option before? No, I have not. I acquire lease options and hold on to them for myself. Not to say I haven't tried, like if it, for whatever reason, somebody, the buyer or whatever, wouldn't fall through, I just hold on to it for myself and do another exit strategy. I actually have a couple of lease options that I acquired that way. And then on the back end made it an Airbnb. That's in my video about the first Airbnb that I got. That's exactly how it was. Lease option, and I was looking for a family to put in there. Then I realized, wait, I can make so much more money. I was looking for a family to do the lease option, like lease purchase from me. And I did the lease option from the owner, and then I just turned around and made it an Airbnb instead. Ooh, I like this one, Candace. And I know, Candace, I know you, girl. What's up? I know her from like past videos and comments and things like that. So what advice would you give to someone who is currently working? Oh, it just disappeared. Working a full-time job. Breathe. That is a great question. And I know it can be very hard or tiring, or I don't know what your job is, but if it's full-time, I'm sure it's, hard and tiring. But my advice is to, one, as best as you can, don't do this alone. Don't do this business alone. Leverage other people and their time and their expertise and their resources, because you might end up driving yourself crazy if you are doing this by yourself on top of having a full-time job. Is it possible? 100% definitely. But I'd advise that you find someone who you can partner with, or who can at least just do day-to-day tasks for you that you wouldn't be able to do for yourself if you are at work. And again, I don't know what your job is. I don't know if your job allows you to take phone calls or text people or email people outside of their, job. But so find somebody who you can work with. If you can't do that, definitely bust your butt on the weekends, assuming you're working a 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. That's just my assumption. So whatever time you're not at your job is the time that you need to be putting into the business, meaning focusing wholeheartedly on marketing, because without marketing, you really don't have anything to work with. So in your off time and your off days or whatever, it should be used on marketing, whatever marketing method you so choose. That could be making phone calls, that could be writing letters, that could be posting on Facebook, that could be sending out text blasts to homeowners. Somebody says, very nice, what are you currently using for a CRM, if any? If you also use SMS marketing, what is your recommended company? So I don't use SMS marketing. That's something I actually want to eventually test out. But CRM, I use Podio, and it's built out. It's very extensive. It's great. But sometimes keeping it simple is better. Just, something to help you stay on track with your follow-up is really all you need. When I started, I didn't have Podio. I was using Google Sheets, but I love Podio because it's automated, and that makes life so much easier, as opposed to, like, it'll be like a lead comes in through our website, email automatically goes out to them. So it's like a chain of stuff that a human doesn't have to do, as opposed to like some stuff was slipping through the cracks when I was using Google Sheets, because that's obviously manual. Who set up your Podio? At the time, my mentor, when I first started, had a guy, he knew a guy, and that's who set it up, and it wasn't free. I don't even remember how much it was. It was like, I don't know, I think in the thousands, it wasn't even up to 2,000, so maybe one, if that. So a guy that my mentor knew or had set it up, and I think it was just a VA. Like, you can find a VA, like using Fiverr, who can set up your Podio system for you. And if you need, I got you. That might be a service I offer. honestly. Setting up Podio, if that's what you want. Are you open to joint venturing? I am. Does the seller have to sign the memorandum agreement in front of the notary or even at all? No. JC, I'm answering your question. No, the seller does not have to sign the memorandum of agreement at all. And I actually have a video on that too. Go check that out. And I literally show you guys exactly, because it was my first time doing it. And I made the video because I didn't see any other videos and I didn't get any concrete answer to that exact question and others that I had about filing the memorandum. So I walk you guys, I take you to the courthouse with me, showed you how I did it, the process, how much it costs, all of that in this one county. So it's going to vary even within your own state. It's going to vary county by county. So I went to Fulton County, Georgia. I can't remember how much it cost me, but I stated in the video. But yeah, the seller doesn't have to sign that at all. You, who the person filing it, will sign it and sign it in front of a notary. Jermaine Wilson, hey Dara, you pulling broad list or still going super niche? My advice would be to go as niche as possible, so I do that. Broad is because it's like the lowest hanging fruit, and a lot of people can just pull a list of absentee owners, and so you're, you know, competing essentially against all the other people who kind of took the easy way out to just get vacant absentee owners, as opposed to like getting really niche. And also too, the more niche you go, like I kind of want to caution saying that, but the more narrow you go in your scope of lead type, sometimes they could be the more motivated. For instance, just because somebody's an absentee owner does not mean they're motivated to sell at all. So that to me is like the lowest level of motivation. So the more you like narrow your focus into the pain points, really, like what you have to really just think about it as you solving somebody's problem. Just because somebody's an absentee owner, what problem do you think that they have that you think that you're solving? So look at it like that when you want to focus on whatever type of lead types you want to market to. So for instance, if somebody's going through probate, you know, their problem could be that they're inheriting a property that they may not live in the same state. They may not know what to do with it. They may not can afford it. So yeah, that's what I would say about that. I'm getting all these other messages, y'all. I'm so sorry. Somebody said, what's the worst thing, Robel or Robo says, what is the worst thing that has happened to you in your business thus far? Lawsuits, failed deals? Definitely not any lawsuits, knock on wood. So yeah, I guess I would just say like failed deals. Not even failed deals. What's worse than that is losing money on a deal. That's what's happened to me. I've lost earnest money on deals when I first started out. Then I had to tighten up because I was like, this is not fun. That's not cool. Can't be losing earnest money out here. Losing deals happens. It is what it is. Like at the end of the day, I have lost a lot. I've had a lot of deals under contract that didn't end up closing. So that's one thing. But definitely losing money on, I've never lost money, like got negative profit on a deal. I've never closed a deal where I didn't make a profit. So that's, I'm thankful for that, but I have lost earnest money. Let's see. Do you recommend, Summer Breeze says, do you recommend starting out wholesaling or creative financing? It's whatever you feel the most confident in as far as your knowledge base, really. I know when I first started learning about wholesaling, my mentor was really good in teaching me both sides of that business, because he was like, I don't want you to be a one-trick pony. I want you to know what all you can do with the lead if for whatever reason you can't fit it into the Mayo formula. So I've done more wholesale deals than creative financing, but I have that in my knowledge base. So which one would I say to do? I can't really tell. I can't give you that answer, because it is all about, it's more than just black or white, like this over this. It's like, what kind of time do you have? How creative are you? Because it really is. Creative financing is literally creative. You can create a deal. Like there's rules around what's legal and not, but other than that, like following those rules, it's whatever two people agree on, you and the homeowner, whatever y'all agree on is a deal. Put it on paper, sign it, and that's the deal. So, all right, let me scroll, because I know some people probably ask questions that I never even got touched, because I can only see what's at the most recent questions. Did you have a mentor when you started? I did have a mentor, and that's something I would recommend. personally. I know people who start without one. They just learn from YouTube University. It's great for them. That's great. But I personally was like, nah, hold my hand, bruh. I need to know what's going on. Hey, Dara, I'm just starting wholesaling. Are there enough houses to wholesale? That's an odd question to ask. And that's, I think, the wrong mindset to have. Are there enough houses to wholesale? I don't know what market you're in, but hopefully there are enough. I feel like I have an abundance mindset, so that's something I think that going into any business you should adopt. Let's see. How to skip tracing property. I try using Been Verified. So Been Verified is a source that you can use for that. I would suggest using it on your smartphone rather than online because it's free on your smartphone, or you could pay a VA or partner with somebody who has like the higher end software such as like TLO and LexisNexis, all these other things. So you can also find a VA who has access to that, or somebody who can partner with. And I do have a video on just that. Y'all, it really feels good to be like, I have a video on these topics. Like, any other questions y'all have, if I don't have a video on it, I'm taking notes, mental notes, like, okay, I should create a video on that. But I do have a video on how to vet a virtual assistant, and I do get into how to vet somebody who you want to do skip tracing for you, because you don't want to waste your money and get scammed. Really. Do you have to file taxes wholesaling? You do. You are in America, so you do. How would you exit a property under contract? You are new and have no buyers list. It really depends on what your contract says, really. If you have due diligence in your contract, the safest way is to back out and terminate the contract during your due diligence period. So no harm, no foul that way. But other than that, I don't really know what's in your contract or what it says. The reason I'm saying that is because your contract should have out clauses. It should allow you ways to back out. And if it doesn't, then I don't know what to tell you. You probably just lose earnest money like I did. So, that. Jamming always says, what does it mean when a foreclosure is listed on a county website but it shows withdrawn? So that just means that it's no longer available for auction for whatever reason. So I know, like, going to the live auction for foreclosures, you would see, you have your list of all the foreclosure properties that you can bid on, but if you see a property that says like canceled or withdrawn in some instances, it just means that something happened. Maybe the debt was settled. Something happened to where it's no longer available to be purchased or auctioned or bid on. Ooh, somebody says, just closed my first deal today and I want to double my efforts and with getting properties, driving for dollars, and only call at night. Is that smart or no? Well, first of all, congratulations on getting your first deal. That's so exciting. Definitely reinvest those proceeds into whatever it got you that first deal. So double down on your efforts that way. Triple down, quadruple down, whatever. And then, so your question is, I want to double my efforts and driving for dollars, only call at night. Is that a smart or no? Yeah, I from my experience and research, calling in the evening has been better as far as response rate. So like 5 to 7-ish, 5 to 8 p.m. And if you're on the West Coast, like if you do virtual, sometimes that is, I think, an advantage. For instance, if you live on the West Coast and you're marketing in Atlanta, or no, vice versa. If you're on the East Coast and you're marketing on the West Coast, because we're like ahead of them. So like it's 8 o'clock your time, but it's 5 o'clock their time. So you can like call a lot later. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with calling in the evening. I don't think that's a bad strategy. Drive for dollars, call. Like I said, whatever got you that first deal, I would just, focus more heavily on recreating that, just rinse and repeat. Ooh, Taj, have you ever tried door knocking? If so, how did it feel and go as far as receptiveness of the seller? No, I don't think I'm about that life. I have actually knocked on like two max. I know for a fact one. I'm thinking maybe another person, but I know for a fact that I knocked on one person's door, and it wasn't like. So when people say door knocking, I think they like get in a caravan and a whole group of people, and you do the whole street type thing. Mine was more very calculated, very much methodical. It was like a lady who I think I skipped trace and found her number, called her, sent out a postcard to her, and all of those. Actually, yeah, two people I went. But anyway, so when I'm talking about, I actually went to her door. I'm like, why are you ignoring me? So anyways, I got her attention that way, and she was like, oh my gosh, all you have to do is leave a voicemail or call me. I was like, I did all of the above. So what's up? So come prepared if you are going to door knock with your contracts. Come prepared, you know, with your offer and all that. But it's not something that I do or have like done. I just did it to like one or two very targeted people. Receptiveness. Oh, you did ask about that. Yeah, she was just like, oh, you just went all out your way to do all that. She wasn't like really weirded out about it. She wasn't impressed either, but she was just like, okay, all you have to do is call me. Like that's one way to get me. Like that's a good way to get me. And I was like, yeah, I tried that. So that was that. Let's see. Somebody says thank you. You're welcome. I feel like I got skip tracing. Almost all the numbers are not working. Sorry about it. Sometimes you do get what you pay for, but if you paid and none of the numbers are working, then I would just say in the future do your research on whatever skip tracing company you are using or source you're using. What are your top most powerful exit clauses? Not to be that person, but I do have contracts for sale and they're in there, so that's kind of where that would go. If you wanted that information, I have a link down below and in all my videos on how to get my package of 5 contracts. So yeah. One I would say, and this is like everybody knows this one, I would say for the most part, like you can make your contract contingent upon partner's approval, contingent upon inspection, or quite honestly, like the easiest or the best way to get yourself out is to have due diligence, whether that's 14 days, whether that's, I know people who are lucky enough to get like 30 days of due diligence or something like that, or that way, you know, you are able to back out during your inspection or your due diligence period. So it's really just buy yourself some time. Y'all laughing? Ha, I'm serious, you know. Congrats on your first Airbnb. Thank you. Can you do an update video on how it's going for you and maybe if you see good profit? Okay, yeah, it's in the works. Definitely in the works to do a update on that first one, as well as updating you all on the others that have been added to my portfolio since then. Because I've learned a lot since, and I only started in, I think, September of 2019, so of last year. So, and the learning curve was really small, but it's just like anything else, you want to be able to put processes in place. You want to be able to, for this, have a template. So I know every time I need to buy a queen bed set, every time I need to buy XYZ, I know where to go. I know what to budget for, stuff like that. You are owner financing your Airbnbs or renting? Both. I'm doing the what's called the Airbnb arbitrage method, and so some people I'm just renting from, and I'm like their lifelong tenant. I tell them I'm your very last tenant, so we about to ride this thing till the wheels fall off. They're like, yeah, great, awesome. And they eat it up. And then some other people I am doing owner financing lease options. So either or is what I've been doing, but I don't own any of the properties that I Airbnb. Best strategy to get subject to deals. Target pre-foreclosure leads. Done. Miguel Benitez. If I'm assigning my contract to a buy and hold buyer, what's the difference if I'm used to working with rehabbers? That's a good question, but there is, I mean, the only real difference is the numbers. So typically a buy and hold investor, I might need to get a charger soon, y'all. Typically a buy and hold investor is willing to pay more than what a rehabber would pay for a property in a deal. Some of the other differences are the numbers that you should calculate, and or what your buyer is going to calculate or look for. That's most important. So they're looking typically for their cap rate, you know, equity as well, if there's a potential to increase rent, or if the rent is at the maximum, the current rent is at the maximum, whether it's tenant occupied or not. But to actually, if you're at the point where you have it under contract and you're ready to assign it to a buy and hold investor, there's really no difference at all. Yeah, there's no difference, except again how the buyer would calculate their offer, and in turn how you should calculate the offer that you create or that you send to the homeowner. Can you subject to on a property and Airbnb it? Well, once you subject to a property, or once you acquire a property subject to, you own it. So absolutely, you can do that. I had one like that. I was going to do it. I acquired it subject to, and then the only reason I didn't turn it into an Airbnb, that Airbnb was like plan H. And the reason I didn't do it is because it was too far away from where I live, as well as it was just a really big house. So I just I don't want to spend all this money furnishing it. So we ended up doing a traditional rental that way. So you guys, I'm gonna take a 2-second pause. I'm gonna keep it live so that your questions don't go anywhere. But I don't want to have my phone die on y'all, so I'll be right back. I definitely need a longer cord. All right, and we're back. I just charged it into my laptop, which is smarter. Sorry, I'm just looking at the questions. All right, I've got this question here that says, thank you, part 2. So is it appropriate to contact people who are on the foreclosure list prior to auction? Probably a dumb question. It's not a dumb question. So it is appropriate to contact them prior to the auction, because that's kind of the only time that you have, or that they have, control of the property or ownership of the property. So yes, reach out to them prior to the auction. I know some people who all the way up until the day, sometimes up to the day before, or even the morning of the auction, that they're able to remedy the debt and stuff like that. So somebody else asked a question about when they see the word withdrawn, or sometimes you see canceled on the auction list next to the property, and that's kind of what that is. So that means that the homeowner was saved, or for some reason or another, the debt was satisfied, the lender was satisfied, paid off or whatever. Some kind of deal was negotiated to where that property is no longer available or up for bid. So to answer your question, yes, it is appropriate, necessary, required to reach out to a homeowner before the auction. My hair is frizzy a little bit. All right, let's see. Somebody says, Master of Kings says, hello, I just got a tax delinquent list. It doesn't have actual addresses. Is that normal? And do I get the complete address? So I'm not sure where you got that list from, but you should definitely have the address of the tax delinquent list. So consider getting PropStream, a PropStream account or membership, and you won't have that problem ever again. So just note that after this live, this video will still be up on my channel for you to rewatch. And I also will have a link in the description and or in the comments of this video once it's posted and uploaded with a link to try PropStream for free for 7 days. Says, what's the biggest down payment you ever received on an owner financing deal that I've ever received? I actually have all the like seller financing deals that I've done has never been a sandwich, as in like, is this camera? It hasn't been a sandwich, so it wasn't like I haven't had a family or whatever, like an end buyer, get the deal from me. So I haven't assigned a lease option deal or wholesale lease option deal, and I have not had a family come do owner financing from me. So the answer to your question is nothing yet. So yeah, whenever I do the lease options that I've acquired, I've literally, or the owner financing, I've literally made them either traditional rentals or short-term rentals. So that's what that's been thus far. Oh, excuse me, you guys, my goodness. Somebody says, Easy says, literally moving to Dallas, Georgia tomorrow. Have you worked that area before? No, I can't say that I've worked Dallas, Georgia. Nope. And no, I have not done any foreclosures. Pre-foreclosures, yes. And that's somebody asked about subject to strategy. That's the niche. Do you do on-market deals with agents? I'm not opposed to it, but I don't prefer it if I had a choice, which I do, but I'm not opposed to it. I actually like in the beginning of when I started wholesaling, I was actually working with an agent. He was like, I was like looking for investor friendly agents to put on my team. And we would literally go out like every day looking at lists of properties, and they were all fixer uppers. It's just that they were listed on the market. And so we would make several offers, you know, all the time. So that was that. And so, like I said, I'm not opposed to it, but yeah. Y'all, I'm sorry. My mom just texted me.